Yes. So I still have my novel that I am working on. I have a poetry book I'm playing around with that's finished. I also have a gratitude journal that I am putting out. I believe that people do graduate to the negative so easily, and you always look at what's wrong. But if you can just take a step back and look at what's right, or just think of three things that you can be grateful for in your day, just to shift the mindset and strategize, your outlook will be different, which also will help your attitude, your altitude and attitude.
Everyone, welcome back to Living the Next Chapter. I have a great guest on the podcast. I'm excited to have her on the show. Evelyn's here, and we're going to be talking about her book. She wrote a book for families. Come on, that's so nice, right? It's The Reason I Held You Close, and it's a great book that you need for your family. And Evelyn's here to talk about her book and all the great things happening. Evelyn, welcome to Living the Next Chapter.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me, Dave.
It's exciting to have you here. Tell everybody where you are in this big world of art.
I am in New Jersey. I'm on the East Coast. It's currently raining right now. A little muggy, but hopefully it'll cool down.
There you go. Awesome. Well, it's great to have you here. You're an author, and that's amazing. Tell me a little bit about your journey. How did you become an author? What was it for you that you're like, I want to do this. I want to write a book?
Yes. So I started writing when I was a kid, but I stopped it, and I tried to pursue other things. So later on, most recently, I was hearing the Lord say, write your book. And I'm like, I don't have time, Lord, busy life. So I thought, and okay, so Lord, nothing's finished yet. I have a novel I'm working on. I have some of the things that are in place, but I just stopped doing it for a little while. And I said, Lord, I'm going to give you what I have. And I know that you will bless it when I give it to you. So I had a poem I wrote years ago. It was called The Reason I Held You Close. And that poem was about the love of God for us. And so I turned it into a children's book for it to be a natural love, whether they're yours or not, whoever God placed in your life, to help them become the best version of them as they grow up. And sometimes you don't see it right now, but look back and you appreciate the thing they did to help you push you forward.
I love that. So there's got to be a story behind this, Evelyn. Who is it for you that showed you that kind of love that you wrote about in your book?
I would say my parents. I have my grandparents. I have a great family that I appreciate them being there for me, and my siblings.
Nice. How many siblings do you have?
I have 5.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big family. That's nice.
Yeah, it is.
And where do you fit in on the age there? Where do you fit in?
I'm on the younger part.
Okay.
I'm on the bottom tool.
There you go. Well, they say you save the best for last, right? So you're the youngest, so you're like the last in all the kids, so you're the best then, right?
Well, I have a little brother,
there you go.
So he's the only one that's below me.
Okay,
so
all right.
He's the baby.
Good. He's the baby, right? I love it. So when did the book come out, Evelyn?
The book actually was published in March of 2022.
Okay.
When I actually published it.
And I know the one thing about writing a children's book, a family book like you have, is the artwork. That's another piece of writing that is unique for an author like you compared to another author, maybe who writes a novel or a fiction. You have the artwork to think about. I know that you gave credit on your Amazon page to your illustrator. How did you find your illustrator? I'd love to know the story.
So when I decided to make this book a reality, I actually did my research first, whether I wanted it to be traditional or self-published. I had a breakdown of how a book is made, what type of size, what type of description. I actually had a list of illustrators I wanted to work with, and just see where they were on their schedule. I knew I wanted the book to be put out in March. I gave myself a deadline when I wanted it to be public, and I was like, it's really exciting to get that done. So my checkbook, as I was going over everything I wanted, I went to ready.com and it had illustrators. So I looked at their work and how other people's work they did in their own personal work. And so how I linked up with the illustrator, young June Kim.
Hmm.
I reached out to her and I said, okay, I set up a budget. I had a budget already set out. I did the financial, I also do financial services. I've done in the past. So I knew that being a having your financials set up properly, not to go over, but not to be under, but, just make sure it works in your ballpark. And so I'm like, okay, I said, this is what I have to work with. I said, this is what I want. And, after going through different illustrators, I went to the stores as well, see how they looked and just wanted, so like, wow, we're going to be in the store, so I'm really excited, got even more excited about that. And so that's how I got contact with her and I let her, we had a contract set up on, what the fees were, how we're going to connect with each other. I gave her some ideas. I said, okay, I know that I can do a little bit, but not like that.
Yeah.
So, and I didn't know how I wanted the pictures to come about yet. I knew I had an idea, but I just didn't know how to put together yet. So I gave her, that's okay. So this is what I want for the book. I wanted to be a ebook and paperback, also think a hard copy because kids tear up books, and so that would be easy. They can't, it's a good kids. So parents do appreciate hardbacks. So I thought about had them in mind,
Good.
and I had it was a page that I had wanted. I started pictures like this is what I would like. Had an idea, and so she took the ideas I sent to her through email, and she would present to me a design. And now we go back and forth, fix this or make this change. And I also would add like my sister and my brother, like, okay, am I missing? Because I was tunnel focus. I was like, well, help me when I'm tunnel focused, help me to see what I might be missing, and the books. I would like, is this okay? And I had them as a review, extra review, just in case, and how we came together. And so when she actually completed different portions, little piece by little piece, she would send me different pages just to make sure to go along. And I would add stuff at the last minute. And I thank God that she worked with me. Like, yeah, it's right here too,
Yeah.
and she actually put it together. And when she had finished the book, she sent me different examples of titles and how she can do the cover. And I was like, I like this. When she finished the book and she sent it to me all put together with the color and the pictures as like an ebook format, I was like, wow, this is my work.
Mm. Great.
I was just so excited. I was like, look, this is me.
Wow.
And so after we put together, I know that one thing I was focused on the how to put it out there and get it to people, and how to get to like how do I connect with other people, marketing pretty much. And so one thing I forgot, like the day before what had been launched, which was March 28th, 27th of March, I realized that I forgot to put the description on the back of the book. And I was like, oh my goodness.
Uh-oh.
And so I had to I actually not call her, but I reached out to her. And I said, hey, I forgot to put the back of the cover on the back of the book, what the book is about, because there's nothing there. And I was like, oh no, and I spelled the wrong wrong. Like, oh no, I'm a writer. Yeah, I can't spell, just all the little things that day before it gets reviewed. And so she actually was able to put it on there, fix my corrections, put on the back of the book. And I was like, okay, so day of launch, I was more freaking out about the fact that there was nothing on the back. It takes time for it to upload into the system, by understanding, for them to get it. And I was like, oh my goodness, it's gonna have a book. It got spelled wrong. It's the back of the book. And I was so focused on that the blessing to me was that on Amazon, it was sold out. And I was like, wow.
Nice. That's amazing.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, it's easy. So, you make doing even though you're focused, you will have mistakes, but you're able to correct them and push forward and have great results. And we're just from there, we're just continue. Once you got launched, it was from there, just continue to connect with people, collaborate with people, and further share my book with others.
Nice. What does it feel like to actually have a copy of the book when it arrived at your home? What was it like to open that box?
Wow, that was so amazing. I got it was like a draft or a sample
Yeah,
of the book. So that sample like written on the top of it. And so what I did, I got a copy from one source. I got a paperback, and then another source, I had got a hardback cover. And so that right here, since my book right here,
there it
a
is.
copy of it.
There you go.
I don't know if
Good.
you can see it. There it
Yep.
is. It there?
Yep.
Can you see
Yep.
it? Yeah. So when I actually held it in my hands, I was like, wow. And I just began to give God thanks because I knew that I would have actually committed to doing this and stepping out and just trusting him that, what he put in me, that it would be a blessing to others and they would be just encouraged by the words. And even the editor, when she got the book, was like, I have two children and I love the words
Mm,
of this book and you have a great audience to reach. I was like, oh, thank you.
nice.
I didn't take much, but I wanted to make sure that, 'cause when you're writing, sometimes you're thinking as you write, and you want to make sure that it's clear, and that it's everything is spelled correctly, and so, she did go that for me, and nothing was really changed on it. But she was like, you know what, you're good, a couple of things. But I was like, okay, I don't have the right spelling of words and everything. We're good. Like, yes, like so that was awesome. It has been amazing, just to see it, just to hold my book, and it's like my newest baby.
Nice. I love it. It's great. And what does it mean for you then to see that people love the book and they leave you comments like on Amazon and stuff? What does that mean to you as an author to read some of the things that people say about your book?
I think that it is amazing that it can it's shared in a way that you can relate and that you can see yourself or you can see your nieces or your nephews,
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you're a counselor, or maybe you're a foster parent or a grandparent, or maybe you're a sibling, raising, or if you have that predicament, raising your children or raising your siblings, or just someone that you took in.
Yeah.
You're able to see yourself, and you're able to see like, hey, these reasons, I understand these reasons, because or if someone else reading this can say, I want to say thank you for your reasons of holding me close, and your inspiration to be, what you do. I went to like a book event, and a lot of times I realized that I should have pushed more for comments online, but just the in-person comments alone are encouraging to me.
Yeah.
I had a parent say that I see these reasons, and I was a kid and I did this, and she don't see why I hold her close, and they don't see why I do this. And I said, but remember, you were a kid, so you didn't see the reasons. She was like, yeah, I understand. So it's like you can see both ways, now
Mm-hmm.
that you have kids, and it's like, yeah.
I love it because I'm looking at your Amazon page while we're chatting and I'm reading some of the really nice comments that people have written about your book. It's really
Yeah.
amazing. So, like one, for example, Jackie Washington says she gave you 5 stars and she said it's a heartwarming book for the entire family. She says that she loves the way that the book parallels the love of a loving family with the love of God. She says it's simply beautiful, your book. Isn't that nice?
Oh, yes, it
So,
is.
if that was Jackie, what do you want to say to Jackie in case she's listening?
I would say thank you, Jackie, for your kind words and sharing my book. Thank you so
Isn't that
much.
nice? Right? And then I have
Yes.
another anonymous customer, but they gave you 5 stars. And they said it's an absolute must read. They said this book is amazing. I read it to my class and it opened up a door for conversations that kids would never bring up. It helped them to understand that when a parent loves you, they hold you close and they do what they do for a reason. It's an absolute must read when you need to have that hard conversation with any child. So that's an anonymous customer, but 5 stars. They love your book.
That is, I say thank you for just sharing your book with the class.
Yeah.
I remember going to a class, and I would go like to the schools and like read my book, and I like to break the ice with the kids, and I would say, do you know the reason your loved ones hold you close? You leave their hands raised. They have their reasons, to keep me safe, help me cross the street, help me do this and that. And it's like, okay, those are all great reasons. And here are some of the reasons I've written down. And, so I read the book with them, page by page, interact with them. I had one school I went to, I was sharing like there's a page where it says, I had you supplemental for some reasons in the seasons in your life, and they're like join on the wall. What kid has to join on the wall at some
Hmm.
age, you know? And I was asked like, what you do with your family? Excuse me.
Hmm.
I said, what are some of the things you like doing with your family? And kids like point out like, playing games, I like, just watching movies, I like playing with my dog. And I said, okay, so one little boy was about to cry, and I was like, oh Lord, don't let him cry. He was like, his eyes were watering up. He said, I don't have a dog. I was like, oh, and I was like, okay, okay. So I was like, well, what are some things you do have? And once I started remembering things he did have, he started turning to a smile. I was like, oh, no, no. So I was glad that it turned around for him
Yeah.
and appreciate things he did have that we didn't have.
Nice.
And so it's been amazing to get the kids' honest review about what their opinions about just different things throughout the book. It has been very interesting to hear their honest opinions. Like one little boy said, "I like your book, but I think it's short." I was like, "Okay, okay, I think okay, no, make something a little longer."
That just means you can write more books then. That's right.
Yes.
Right. So what is the age range for the book? Who is this a perfect book for?
Yes. So the book I have an age range from 0 to 12
Okay.
years old. I'm actually working on a series for the book. I have two that are finished right now. I'm working on, I think, two or three more for the book. I guess I have seven in total, but I want to see how it all will come together once I do finish it, and then I'll be able to put it out and go from there.
Good. What kind of advice would you have for another author who wants to write a children's book? What have you learned? What can you teach a new author who's listening to the podcast?
I would say to follow your dream and know what message you want to send to the children. What is it that make sure you're genuine about what you're sending out to kids, because kids at a young age, they are very like sponges. So you want to make sure that if they're going to be soaking up what you're putting out, that is something that's inspirational, something that's going to help them along the way, something that encourages them and despite the imagination of possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I want to encourage as many authors as possible to write their story, right? So having somebody like you come on who has a book and you've done it, there's a lot of people listening to this show that are just starting. They haven't found an illustrator. They're writing the story. They're listening to you and they're like, oh, I can't wait to be like Evelyn and have my book in the world. So it's kind of nice to hear how you did it so that they can learn from you as well.
Yes, it's been an awesome experience for me to be on this platform and to just be able to meet different people. And I'm a part of different organizations. Like one group I was in, I told her I did this business and I'm an author, and she's interested in the book I wrote. And from being there right to her events, it led me to another, I guess, at her event that I connected with, that actually to write for her events, and also read it for the events.
Hmm.
So it was pretty awesome, just
Nice.
connecting with people as I just share my story and just to be able to encourage people to push forward and be your best selves.
Yeah. Are you going to be working on new projects in the future? What do you think?
Yes. So I set up my novel that I am working on.
Good.
I have a poetry book I'm playing around with that's finished. I also have a gratitude journal that I am putting out. I believe that people do graduate to the negative so easily, and you always look at what's wrong. But if you can just take a step back and look at what's right, or just think of three things that you can be grateful for in your day, just to shift the mindset
Yeah.
and strategize, you're able to, your outlook would be different, which also will help your attitude, your altitude and attitude.
Nice. I like it. I like how you think, Evelyn. This is great. This is really good. Because the name of my podcast is Living the Next Chapter. So I'm always kind of interested about what's coming next for you. You said that you're going to turn your books into a series. How, like, tell me more about that.
Yes, so the children's book, The Reason I Held You Close, I actually, because there was a page that says, I I watch you grow from a baby to a teenager, to an adult with a life of your own. So from that page, I'm actually picking. So like as you get, because there's a page that shows like as they're aging in time on that page. So from there, I'm actually pulling. I actually pull some things from that to be able to create a series. Just the Without Your Clothes was a kickoff, and I was like, so for example, I have one that says it's time to fly. The reasons I say no
Mm.
are some of the titles that I have set up so far.
Nice. How often are you writing? Is this something you do every day, every week? How often do you actually sit down and write?
I started off writing like in the middle of the night, about 2 or 3. It seems like around that time, it comes to me then. But now it's like just a quiet time. So I work on time management to be able to put the books together. So I would say I do try to work on the books at least once a week. I do, because some of them are already finished. I go back to it and, just, you know, go over it for a minute. I have put it down for a minute.
Nice.
So I can actually do something else, but I pick it back up. I want to make sure that I put it out there and keep it together. And there's also make sure that it's clear, make sure that the title and the words are matching to connect with the audience and what I want you to receive out of what I'm putting out.
Do you think you're going to stay with the same illustrator for the next books, or do you think you'll try somebody else? What are your thoughts?
Well, I may stay with the same illustrator, or that is iffy. I may stay with her, or
Okay.
I may get someone else. I like her work, and so we'll see, because I have the characters already, they're preset already.
Yeah.
So you'll be able to see them. So it's in progress.
Good.
Decision.
Yeah. Nice. Well, it's always nice to know, because I think if somebody's going to write a series of books and they want to have the same characters, the same look, then you kind of have to think about, okay, how do I keep this great illustrator in my world? How do I keep her coming back to help me in future projects? So always curious about that part too. That's interesting. I love it. So what about promoting your book? Do you have like social media? Do you have a website? Where do people go to find out more about you and kind of follow along on your journey?
Yes, I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on LinkedIn. I also have a website. Just updates are being done right now. Everything is Ev's Book Journey. Is how you're able to find me. There are links on the social media sites where you can actually click on my website to still be able to see it right now, and to get more detail. Here's some of the things I have created. And connect with me, collaborate if you want, and just follow and go from there.
Excellent. I love that. So one last question for you, Evelyn, as we go. Talk to the parents that are going to buy the book and read the book to their children. How important is it from your perspective as an author that we read to our children on a regular basis, read the same book over and over and over? Why is it important for parents to do that? What do you think?
I believe that it's important to read the book and reread the book, because sometimes a kid's understanding is different than adults understanding.
Right.
And sometimes I don't understand why we do what we do. Long as you're with good intentions and for their best intention, not to harm them in any way, but that you are keeping them safe to protect them. So sometimes it's no, you can't go over to your friend's house. You have homework.
Yeah. Right.
No, you can't go to this program because we have something to do as a family, or maybe we can't make it today, for such and such reason. It's important to let your children know the reasons that you do what you do. Why you hold them close, why you don't watch everything, listen to
Mm-hmm.
everything, go everywhere, go everyone's houses. There are reasons that you can share with them as you read the book that you can say, hey, this is why. I had someone tell me that, when she read the book that, she just cried because, she seen so much of her children in the book. And it's amazing. You can just take your time and read with them, interact with them, why you hold them close,
Mm-hmm.
why you do it, why you do what you do. It makes a difference when you break things down to their intellect, their understanding, and then it's like, okay, because my kids are like sponges, and they can soak up the wrong thing or the right thing.
Right.
And you want to make sure that you pack them before they go out the house. They know why, and they know who they are before they step out into the world.
Nice. That's a great place to end off, Evelyn. I love that. And I love that you wrote the book for families to help them to have a very positive communication for the families. The reviews tell you people love the book. So I love that you've written this and that you've put this out into the world. Good things are going to come back to you just by making this book available.
Yes, absolutely.
It's exciting. I'm going to have you come back in the future as you write more books, okay?
Yes.
You promise you'll come back? You promise?
Absolutely. I would love to come back.
Okay, well, there you go. Everyone, all the information for Evelyn is in the show notes. A link to the book. Please, when you buy the book, because I know you're going to buy the book, you're going to buy many books and send them to all your family. But when you do, leave a great review for Evelyn so that she knows that you love the book and why you love the book. Make sure you leave a really good review for all the authors when you buy their books. Evelyn, thank you so much for being on Living the Next Chapter. So glad to have you here.
Yeah, thank you again, Dave. Excuse me. Thank you again for having me. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I enjoyed the conversation.
Hey, thanks for listening to Living the Next Chapter. I'm glad you stayed all the way to the end. You're my new bestie. And the one thing I like to do with my besties is enjoy time together over a cup of coffee. Now, one thing missing in the equation is my coffee cup is empty. And what I would love if, after 390 plus episodes roughly, if you found any value in the podcast and you want to say, hey, Dave, do you need a refill of your coffee cup? I'm looking at it right now, and you know what? It's looking kind of sad. There's not much in the coffee cup. If you want to help support the podcast, I would love you forever as besties and celebrate coffee with you. You can celebrate and support the show at our website using our Buy Me a Coffee link. And all the money goes back into the podcast. And we also like to give it to other podcasters. So if you want to support the show, head over to livingthenextchapter.com and let's top it up. Thank you guys. Thanks for listening. Cheers.